We are live with Mr. Josh Todd. Thank you for being with me today, and just a bit about you, which you can go say something about you, but just what I know about you. Military, you're a member of the Armed Services. Thank you for that. SGA VP?
Yes, sir.
Wow. $1 million smile, magnetic personality. I just expect to see big things from you over time. And you've been our latest intern here at SignMaster, and we've enjoyed that. Appreciate that. So,
thank you. I appreciate all the opportunities and the appreciation that you're giving. As a SGA VPs, it's been quite interesting. Different experiences, different people, and coming in contact with. The military is great also. It's been an adventure on that other side also. So, whatever, my life is trying to fix my life the way I can.
That's pretty awesome, man. Well, what's kind of weird, I noticed you the first day that you were here, actually. We're whiteboarding our ideas for Shop Logic and things like that. You immediately say, "Hey, man, give me the marker. I'm cool. All right, let's go." I love how you jump in on stuff, and do that kind of stuff. And I thought it was pretty cool is whenever you were asking me, it's like, "Hey, man, can we get in here on the podcast and mess around?" And I was thinking about interviewing you at some point in time, and maybe we will. Mm-hmm. But then whenever you hit me with, "Hey, I'd like to ask you a few questions about stuff," I thought that was kind of unusual and and pretty cool.
Yeah. Actually, back when like 5 months ago, an experience happened, and of me like going through a little intervention with some people, mm-hmm. and that just brought me to say, like, I don't know why I say this a lot now. I say life is about experiences. On whatever I do, I'm like, life is about experiences, and just go do it. Yeah. Anything I think, it's just like I say that line and I just go do it no matter what. I can't tell you how many books I read, how many trips I've been on just by saying them words.
Really?
I've been to Atlanta, I've been to Miami, I've been to New York.
Just by saying, hey, the opportunity arises, and
saying life is about experiences.
It's about experiences.
Life is about experiences. At the end of the day, when you're laying down on your bed, you're gonna experience what have you experienced?
Right.
So people like want to be like, "Oh, I did this, but I wanted to do this." Well, why didn't you do it?
Right.
And I'm like, "Oh, right. but all them buts and what ifs out there." Yeah. And it just comes down to it. That's what it comes down to. Life is about experiences. At the end of the day, what have you done in your lifespan?
Right.
And Kevin Hart, he said, people are writing a book. At the end of the day, what will your book say?
Yep.
Will your book be just a bunch of blank pages that say, "I went to work"? A blank page, one line, "I went to work." Every page about every year, "I went to work, I had kids, I went to work, had kids," and that's it. Yeah. But I don't want my book to say that. So I'm trying to take control of my book, in other words.
Be the author of your own book. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. That's cool, man.
Yes, sir.
That's cool. That's part of it.
But yeah, as a self-introduction, my name is Josh Todd. I'm from AUM. I go to school at AUM. I'm from Mobile, Alabama. 22 years of age, and just aspiring to do my best. What I got.
Love it. Love it.
I have a few questions for you, Tommy, if you wouldn't mind.
Yep, that was what was pretty cool. You're gonna flip the table on me, and you ask the questions, and I'll see what I can do.
All right. So first question that we come upon is, was there a book that made you in the mindset to start this business that you're in right now?
And just for reference, you gave me the questions ahead of time where I could kind of think through them, and some of these things, man, brought back some crazy memories. Just the first one, was there a book, as much as I love reading books and studying and that kind of stuff, mm-hmm. There was no book. As a matter of fact, I hated reading. I didn't, I think it probably started whenever I was a kid. That's what mm-hmm. I'm saying. It brings back some really weird memories. When we moved to Alabama from mm-hmm. Atlanta and I was a kid, I got like branded as remedial reading at the time or something like that. So I got pushed in this class. Yeah, I got put in this group of people that were, I don't know. I mean, at the time it felt like, hey, these are the dummies, and we're going to put you over here with them because you can't read, which spirals down and that kind of stuff. But anyway, I wound up, I really did. I hated reading. And it wasn't until I got into college when I started reading technical books. I never read self-improvement or help or that kind of stuff, entrepreneurial stuff, and none of that was in vogue, back in the 80s and the early 90s. It wasn't cool to be an entrepreneur like it is now.
Right.
Like the internet has made entrepreneur be like a rock star. But at that time, I started reading technical books because I really loved computers and technology, and all that was just bubbling up, and emerging. So I really loved that stuff. So I started reading technical, and then gradually reading a lot more technical. And then once I got into the sign business, then I started reading technical stuff about signs, about building and construction and all that kind of stuff. But I was probably 40 years old before I started reading things for improvement and learning and managerial stuff and all that. So that's a long answer to was there a book? Nope.
It just kind of popped up like, oh, this book's interesting.
Yeah.
Let me start reading this. It had nothing to do with self-improvement. It was just a nice book that you thought.
Right. And it didn't have anything to do with business.
Right. Okay.
There wasn't nothing really with business. This was all just about learning. Okay. Something I was passionate about. I was really interested in computers and technology.
Okay.
Yep.
Which brings us to our second question. What would you say what would you have more of? Did you have more ups than downs, or more downs than ups in this business?
All right. I guess it depends on what week it is. Sometimes the week is filled with lots of downs. Overall, I wouldn't have it any other way. I could not have it any other way. And I think the ups far outweigh the downs. But it's what you're wired for, I guess. But I would say in this particular business, my life as is, it's been far more ups than downs.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for your answer.
Yeah.
I appreciate your comment. What would you say was your hardest challenge while overcoming and while pursuing this business?
It changes. It actually changes from week to, maybe not week to week, maybe year to year as the business grows. Now, starting, the biggest challenge was time, I'd say. I couldn't get enough. I just sold out in that. So the challenge was packing enough time, which I was working a full-time job at Alabama Reference Lab. And so I would work there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then I would run the business Monday through Friday, through the half a day Friday when I had to go in at like 1 o'clock at the lab. So, I was 7 days a week running wide open, but having enough time to squeeze everything that I had to do in, that was the biggest challenge then. But then as the business matured, you get into people. You get to realizing that, hey, man, you're deficient in management. You're deficient in the being able to relate and motivate people, and then the just backside of business stuff, financial stuff and marketing stuff, and just learning all that. Those tend to be the biggest challenges. But right now, it's at the size we are now, it's probably the biggest thing is culture and how to build the right kind of culture, and have everybody on board have the same mindset. Because what I found, if you can get a lot of people with the same mindset, walking in one direction, you can tear some stuff up. Like you can win battles, you can win the game, you can build a very successful business. You can achieve just about anything as long as that culture is right.
Right. Okay, I understand.
Yeah,
we want to go back to the part where you said, you had to change and everything. There's this quote I was thinking about. So it was a quote of, life is like a door that is constantly changing locks. And at birth, you're given a key.
Mm-hmm.
And from maybe 1 to 18, 1 years old to 18 type of thing, your key's always changing because you learn new things. Is that the part after 18 is when the key, starts to slow down changing. But the lock keeps going and it keeps changing. Locks keep changing. And I feel like change is a necessity no matter what you're in, business or not. And what you saying that I changed and I had to change the business a little bit and had to change the way I worked to fit my image. It's such a great inspiration. So
yeah.
That's a great job on that. A lot of people they don't change for nothing actually.
Yeah, right.
They just go with the flow.
Yeah.
I have people that I know that's just, I was like, hey, why'd you do that today? He was like, man, I just go with the flow. I'm like, you just go with the flow. Like, how old are you? I'm like, I'm like 35. Just go with the flow in life. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
I'm like, I work. You got wife, kids? You got something you inspired for? Yeah, I got 5 kids. I got 5 kids and a wife. Like, what drives you to get up for work? I just wake up and go. Ain't nothing kind of, and I don't want to be like that. That's
right.
That's why I think when I first met you, that was the what stood out the most. Like, obviously that what stood out the most because the way you approached me, you were all enthusiastic, and I was like, all right, this is just regular boss thing. That's what regular bosses do. To hype up their new intern and stuff like that. But as the day progressed, that first day, I realized that he loves his job a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is not a job for him. This is just like a daily course.
Yeah.
I come in, work on my passion, and leave.
Yeah.
So, I feel like personally that when you go home, you still don't stop. Like, it's just a passion of, oh, I'm on the phone with who? Like, your wife be like, I'm on the phone with who? And like, I am on the phone with somebody about my SignMaster.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, like, I can just see that's how the things go.
Yeah.
Like, you're always saying something about the SignMaster.
It is.
No matter what it is.
It is. Absolutely.
That's great.
It's SignMaster Shop Logic. It's got to do with all the,
all of it, just all together.
All of it, all together.
And I love it. And I saw it and I felt it actually. Not just saw it, I felt it while in here. Yeah. Every time you spoke, I just felt it in your voice that you're saying, hey, this is my life. Yeah. I love this so much.
Yep.
So I appreciate you having that enthusiasm, and it inspires people. It inspired me a lot actually.
Great, man. Great.
And one more question if we can, and so save on time. Actually, two more questions.
Yep.
What is one thing you would tell or suggest your audience when starting a new business?
I'm fixing to have a whole podcast or video on this about the lies that you believe as an entrepreneur. And like I was saying earlier, it's sexy to be an entrepreneur now. If that's you're an entrepreneur or a founder or I'm starting this thing and doing this thing, it's all sexy. But it's maybe the one thing when you're starting a new business, realize how much work it's going to be. The mindset you're going to have to persist to get through the thing. You got to be excited, about what you're doing. But then the loneliness and the just the press of having to get up and do it again, even though it failed yesterday. Can I get up and do it again until I get a win? It's that's the hardest thing, and I think that's the thing that gets glossed over a lot. Is that, hey man, I got grandma's apple pie recipe and everybody loves it, and all I got to do is cook pies and it's going to be great. Yeah, it don't work like that. You can have all the passion in the world and still fall flat on your face. Question is, are you going to get up and go again?
If referring back to falling flat on your face, there's a motivational speaker I listen to named Les Brown. He said if you can look up, then you can get up.
Yeah.
He says
I love Les Brown.
Right, he's a good one.
Yeah, he's good.
He's also referred to as life isn't life without failures.
That's right.
So a lot of people fail and they stay failures. But if you can fail and then fail again, it's not that you're a failure. It's just you just keep trying. And people just stop trying after they get a fail. After one or two, they just stop. And most times people they have to continue on no matter what. At the end of the day, you have to keep trying what you want to do.
Yes, sir.
At the end of the day, and you're there, and you're like 8 years down the line, either say I did that,
yep,
or I tried one time and quit, and now I'm in a place where I don't want to be at.
Right. It's huge. I think that tagging on to that, as a parent now, I am seeing, and I have a passion against this, so I'm just going to vocalize it. This everybody gets a trophy mentality. I think we set our kids up to not be resilient in the face of failure, because everybody wins. That's not the way it works. Now, I'm not saying you kick people down,
right?
But everybody don't win, and you got to understand that. You may team up, and you may bring your best, and you may not win. Don't reward that. Reward the effort, but then say, hey, man, you're going to have to get back up and go again. That way, later on in life, man, the kids get up just a little bit, and then they do exactly what you were just talking about. They get up. They keep getting up, and they keep getting up until they succeed. That's huge. I think it's huge, and I have a thing against that whole everybody gets a trophy thing. So I just had to come out
to piggyback on your piggyback. Right? Going into that, failure is just it doesn't start. From doing one failure and then you're quitting. Everybody doesn't need a participation trophy. I understand that.
Yeah.
But when it goes back to also the parents of things. When a child fails at something, you're just torturing, just be like, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done this. You go sit in the corner. Go sit in the corner. What you did. Yeah. I mean, you can't do that to a child. He's trying to, he's new to the world, so he's trying everything he can.
Right.
Everything, and he should understand failure. And people shouldn't get participation trophies. If I were to run a basketball clinic or a tennis clinic or anything, and there's a obvious little hierarchy of challenges and stuff and games, the winner gets the winner, and everybody else gets a clap. They're like, thank you for participating, but you don't get no trophy. But let me tell you why you don't get a trophy.
Yeah, right.
Type of thing. Everybody wants an explanation because it's good to explain, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And failure is inevitable, no matter what. And on the bring up of things, it's good to teach children that just because you tried doesn't mean you get rewarded.
Love that. That's right. But don't quit trying.
Right. Don't stop trying.
Don't stop trying. Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
It hurts a lot.
Yeah.
It hurts terribly.
Same. Because it don't stop. That's the thing. People fail every day. I fail continually. Like that's the process of getting better. But you got to fall in love with the process. That process of, hey man, I figured out a way that it didn't work. Now then, let's go again.
You have to. So another thing, Les Brown said. He said, if you fail, don't think of it as a failure. Just think of it as you're one step closer to success.
That's right.
You know that you tried, and now you know that didn't work. So you try something else.
Mindset.
So I agree with a lot of things he says on failure. Yeah. And for example, today I was supposed to wake up at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock I was supposed to wake up. 5 o'clock work out and do my thing,
Yeah.
But somehow the alarm didn't go off. My body woke me up at 5:30. And now, I could have been like, I missed my wake up.
Yeah.
I'm going to sleep. I could have been like that. I could have been, I don't want to do this no more. I'm going to sleep because I missed my time to wake up. No, I got up as soon as I saw the clock, got up immediately and just ran out the door. Grabbed my stuff, ran out the door. And when I stepped outside, I was like, man, I'm glad I'm up. I'm glad that I got up out the door. Yeah. Because I would not have went if I just stayed there.
That's right.
And even though I failed to get up, I still progressed on to move on type of thing. I still went. Even though I failed to get up, I still went to what my objective was. And I feel like people need to understand that failure is inevitable no matter what you do. What you can fail to eat. Just don't next time, just know that you can't eat that.
Right.
Just know next time that, hey, this type of food will put a gut in my stomach.
Yep.
And true that. Now you know that make a mental state of what you're doing, but that's wrong, and then fix the mistake type of thing.
Absolutely.
I completely agree. Yep. And last question, right? I asked Mr. Mark, the one that supplies you, for what does he supply you with?
What's that?
Mr. Mark?
Mark Robertson.
Yes.
They supply Coroplast and just a lot of science supplies. Yeah.
I asked him, I was like, sir, I told him, I ask people that I think are, successful in things that they love doing. I asked them what one regret that they have right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Tommy, what is one regret that you have right now?
One regret that I have right now.
That you have come to terms with. It's different.
That I've come to terms with.
Like, for example, me, I played basketball and my coach asked me, do you want to play college? And I said no. And
that's a regret.
That's a regret. Because at least I should have tried it. I should have tried it no matter what. I was playing basketball in high school and I was pretty good, but I didn't try it. I didn't try and play in college. I just said no.
Yeah.
Thinking bad about myself, like I'm not good enough type of thing. But I never tried. I never knew where I stood against. So I just shut it down completely. And that's something on my, when I'm laying down in my deathbed, that would just be a ghost standing over me.
Yeah.
And that's where I just, so question to you.
Man.
What is one regret that you have come to terms with right now?
Man, that's a tough one. It really is. Because I mean, thinking about regrets versus regrets that I've come to terms with, like as far as business goes, I would say that probably the biggest regret is the time that it takes away from other things, being 24/7 and having that, and sometimes, and it's not, but I don't know if it's a regret. Like it's almost not a choice. I cannot disengage. So what that does is it takes time away from my family, takes time away from and really early on, with Angela, when we first got married, first started the business, and it was, I got a picture in an album that probably says it all. She's standing there with the most terrible look on her face, and this truck that I was lettering in the background, and I think he was probably taking it like 3:00 in the morning, and she is just like, I've so had it with you and this whole business thing and all of that. So I would probably say that the biggest regret that I have come to terms with, because is the time that it takes away from my family.
That you come to terms with.
Yeah. I try to spend, I've changed over time, of course. My responsibilities are different. My job is different now than it was back then. And in some ways, sometimes, and it ebb and flows now. Like I can ebb. Sometimes I'll have lots of time and I can relax and be more fun and together. Right. And then other times, like what we're entering into right now with the building project and all this stuff, a lot of my time now is taken back away. But there'll be another time where it'll ebb and flow in and out with enough time.
So speaking of that, another motivational speaker, or a speaker that I listen to, is very, very wise man. I don't know if has passed or not. Actually, I never looked it up. His name is Jim Rohn.
Oh yeah.
And he says, everybody has a winter.
Yeah.
So everybody has winters, and everybody has a moment in their life that they're down, or everybody has a moment in their life that things go faster than normal or slower than normal.
Yep.
No, but everybody has it. And he says it just depends on how you get through with it. How you get through it, because everybody has it. At the end of the day, there are 4 seasons in a year, no matter what. He says, quote, after fall, what comes after fall? He said that word for word. He said, after fall, what comes after fall?
Right.
And then everybody was like, oh, winter does. I'm like, somebody said winter? How long has that been happening? Yes, for the last 1,600 years, right? Like, that's not going to change no matter what. Maybe 20,000 years down the line, but after it's not going to change. It's right. Everybody has a winter. Everybody has a winter. Everybody has a summer. Everybody has a fall and a spring. Yeah. And it's just how people get through with it. How people get through it that makes it worthwhile. And you saying that, oh, she was like, when is this business going to be done? Yeah. And I guess that was her winter. Yeah. And now everything has settled down, but it's going to pick back up because another winter is going to come with this building that you're referencing to. And you know, I hope, you know, everything works out in your favor. You know, we're going to say that you're going to speak into existence type of thing. So,
sure. Yeah, I firmly believe in that too. Speaking that stuff out loud, letting you hear it, not saying stupid things out loud. keep that to yourself. That's what I try to do.
But we wanted to thank you, Mr. Tommy, for allowing me to interview you, sir. Thank you so much for allowing me on your podcast. Great environment. And thank you for this internship. I appreciate that too. You gave me the one chance that, you know, nobody didn't have. I was a 22-year-old looking for interns that had no experience.
Yeah. And well, hey man, and hopefully we're going to spin that thing up and then we'll get you back again next year, and we'll try to keep moving that around because you, like I said, in the opening, you know, I expect you to be doing some really great stuff. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe you're going to be president. I mean, I don't know. Like, you got the personality and the, you know, and the moxie and all that. So,
and you know, speaking of personality, right? When I was 18 years old, I was not like this.
Really?
I was not like this.
What's the deal?
I played basketball and I went home. That was it. I ain't talked to nobody. That was it. I had maybe 3 friends. I was not a social type of person.
Really?
I was not.
And you just decided one day, you just woke up and said, "Hey, I'm gonna grab the bull by the horns."
When I got to college, I went to UA. I went to University of Alabama first before I came to AUM. Okay. When I got to college, somebody told me, said, if you want to be successful in life, network. Go talk to people. And I was like, I want to be successful. I think successful is nice for me. I think that's perfect. That's right in my limbo right there. That's right in my alley. And so I was like, okay, let me go talk to people then. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten to free events just by knowing people.
Really?
Knowing men, women, sociable events, economic events. You know, talking to people. I've met the president of UA one time.
Really?
Yes, I met Nick Saban.
Cool.
You know, Alabama's big on football. I met Nick Saban. Yeah. And you know, that's why that's why it changed me. That changed me right there, because I was gonna meet Nick Saban. I was just a computer science major in University of Alabama. I was just gonna be, if I was gonna be honest, if I did not do none of them things, I just would have been in there coding my computer, not talking to nobody. But because I did all them things, I had experiences that I loved, and I do not regret at all.
Absolutely.
So, and that's what I feel like is a big part of life, networking. Yeah. And which, you know,
that's interesting. That's very interesting.
You never would have thought, right?
Never would have thought, dude. I mean, natural. Well, that's what we had talked. I was like, look, man, this dude, he's a computer science major, but he's also the SGA VP. Like, normally those two things do not mesh. Like you know, they just don't. You either have this one thing or you have this other thing, but you got a unique combination of a big old fat brain and then also a big presence. Right. So that's cool, man. So like I'm saying, I entertain the opportunity of having you back for another internship, or maybe after you get out of college. You know, who knows what's going to go on.
I love it. And you know, coming in October, you said the building's supposed to be done in October.
Or no, November next. I mean, the building part will be done, but we won't get to move in probably until next June.
Okay. I'd love to come see it.
Yeah. You have to keep the tabs on us. I will. See what's going on.
I will.
Because it's going to be cool, man.
Mr. Jerry has you know, had done a great job. He's taught me so much. I've literally, when people say internships teach you the most, I firmly believe that now. Yeah. Any hands-on experience is the best experience. Yeah.
And getting introduced to new concepts and thought processes and experiences.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Life is about experiences.
That's right.
But yeah, Mr. Tommy, I appreciate you.
Thank you, bro.